Hey, what's up? This is Sully from Godsmack. Strap on those boots, baby, because you are now in the trenches of the war room with the one and only Mistress Carrie right here on the Mistress Carrie Podcast.
What's up? This is Joe Rogan, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Her hair so lovely, pretty eyes.
Hey, this is Brent from Shinedown, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie. Hey, Carrie, go put your bra on, girl.
Hey, this is Steven Tyler, and you be listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
What's up? This is Aaron from Stain, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Hi, everybody. This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters, and you're listening to the one, the only Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is David from the band Disturbed, and you're listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
Hi, Bruce Dickinson here from Iron Maiden. Yes, indeed, Miss Whiplash herself, Mistress Carrie, is here to unchain your brain.
Hi, this is Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You're listening to Mistress Carrie.
This is Dennis Leary. You are listening to my favorite, Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is Corey from Stone Sour, and you have the privilege of listening to Mistress Carrie. Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
Hey, it's Mistress Carrie, reporting for duty from MCHQ for episode 313 of the Mistress Carrie Podcast. My guest this week is Elias Soriano, the lead vocalist of Nonpoint, who's making his third appearance on the show. As the band gets ready to release a new album this year, their new single, Is It, is available everywhere. And they're hitting the road with a stop on August 6th at Wally's at Hampton Beach. I've known Elias for a long time, and I was so excited that we were going to get a chance to sit down and talk again about everything from his family and SkeeBall to the new album, touring, JNKO Jeans, Bad Bunny, Miami Vice, the Muppets, and so much more. I absolutely love it every time he is on the show, so allow me to reintroduce you to Elias Soriano from Nonpoint. Oh, hell yeah, he's back on the show after a 3-year hiatus, by the way. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. I can't believe I went back and looked at the last time you came on the show, and I was like, it can't be 3 years. Like, it's not possible that it was 3 years ago. What the hell is going on? Why is time going so fast?
Everybody, time flies when you're having fun, I guess.
I guess.
We're super busy. It's been a very busy 3 years. And we wrote 27 songs, so it takes a long time. We knew we wanted the full length to happen, and we needed to kind of like give ourselves the time and the space to get it done. So we kind of, focused on our international stuff, got back overseas again and did the European run with Lacuna, did the UK and some of Europe with Soil, and then went over to Australia again. So that it took a little bit of time. And then we took about, we did the whole festival run time. I think just before that is when you and I spoke. But then, every single time we, had any time off, we were writing.
You're talking about this new album that's coming out later this summer. Have you announced the specific date yet? Because I haven't been able to find one. So feel free to make the announcement right now.
Well, it's definitely going to be around August. We've definitely tied it down to August. We just have a couple songs that we want to drop first. We didn't think that well, I can't say that we didn't think. You never know the reaction that a song's going to get. So you never know how long or how short the run of the song is going to be when it comes to consumption. So this one it seems it's got some serious legs, so things are slightly getting pushed. So we wanted to, get certain assets together, get certain people lined up, and really let Is It do what it's doing right now, and not put too many ducks, in the row right now. We just like the one duck right now.
Just one duck at a time, please.
One duck, please. I'm at the point where we did a lot of scrambling and we're still doing a lot of work behind the scenes. So I'd like to just deal with the one song for right now. The rest of the songs are getting finished up, getting mixed. I just finalized the artwork yesterday. and the guys all gave it the thumbs up. Doing some single covers and stuff. So I'm a busy man. I'm always behind my computer.
You're going to release the album around the time you're back in New England. And I did a little research. You, as a Florida guy, bravely come to New England when our weather is closest to Florida. You don't like to come up here in January.
Oh, we've been up there in snowy, cold times. I remember, and it's funny because we always take the walk up to the boardwalk area by Wally's. And even if it's cold and rainy, we still walk up there and because there's still a couple of the fried dough places open and the Taffy's usually open.
You're talking about playing at the Hampton Beach at Wally's.
At Wally's, yeah.
And I grew up as a kid because my parents got married and had kids young. So we didn't have a lot of money. And Hampton Beach was our idea of like the big summer vacation.
Yeah.
And you're talking about Blink's fried dough, which one bite of that, and I am a kid again. Like,
yes,
it is the best.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny, my daughter came out on the road with us, and we had a day off in New Hampshire at Wally's in Hampton Beach. And it was her birthday. So we went up the boardwalk. We went to the arcade. We won a bunch of stuff. All the band and the crew went to the arcade and won a bunch of tickets. So she had mountains of tickets to buy and get stuff. And then we spent basically 2 days there. So it's her favorite city to visit with me because of all the memories attached to it. So yeah, I'm feeling you on that.
The arcade has the old SkeeBall is my jam. My husband and the kids, we compete in SkeeBall.
Yeah.
And that place has the old wooden balls, not the new plastic balls, the OG wooden ball SkeeBall machines, which is my favorite.
Yes.
We have actually bid on some of those old machines online to try and buy one. That's how much I love SkeeBall.
Yeah, the wooded balls, you can put a spin curve on it. The plastic ones really don't have that same kind of,
you know what I'm talking about.
You can hit that corner 10,000 a lot easier with the wood ball. So I'm there with you.
See, you know what I'm talking about. SkeeBall.
I do.
We would go on vacation with my godparents and their kids, my cousins, and we would rent a house up there for 2 weeks, and we would save our tickets up for the 2 weeks so that at the end of the 2 weeks, we could go shopping with all of these tickets. And we would come home with glasses and all of this stuff.
You spent $300 in tokens to buy $27 of Chinese plastic toys. It was great.
We used to have a bakery. I grew up in my grandparents' bakery that my dad ran. And when we would go on vacation, we used to get a roll of quarters a day. That was our allowance when we were kids. And it was like, okay, we're going to the beach. You're going to leave in the morning. No iPhone. No way to track us. No nothing. Here's a roll of quarters. This is where we'll be on the beach. Come and get us for lunch or whatever.
Make it last.
Make it last.
Make it last.
And
yes.
And we just wouldn't see him for like the rest of the day.
It's funny. My mom and dad used to take us to this place called Showbiz Pizza Time Theater. It was in South Florida. It was right off of 441 and 595, what's 595 right now. And it was a 3-story tall arcade. And our parents would go and they would pump about $40 into the token machine, give me and my brothers both about $10 each. And then they would, the 2 floors, the first floor was all gambling machines. So poker, blackjack, all the video. And that's where they would stay there the whole night. and we would run out of tokens and we run back down to them and they would have gobs of tokens in front of them in these bins. And they were like, yeah, just grab some more. And they would win on poker while we spent it up there. And that would be the trade-off.
It sounds like a perfect business plan.
It was amazing. It was amazing. And then you got the animatronic pizza guys, the gorilla that would sing. It was awesome.
Last summer, for the first time, I got to take my husband and my bonus kids to Hampton Beach. And the kids have grown up because they're military kids, have grown up all over the place. And when I'm in North Carolina and we go to the beach, I'm always just diving in the ocean because the water's so warm.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, it's cold today. And I'm like, guys, you have no idea the water that I grew up swimming in as a kid. So in all the times that you guys have played up at Hampton Beach, which if you're going to be in a rock or metal band, there's just no way to avoid playing at Hampton Beach in one way, shape, or form. Because in the summertime, that place is just craziness.
Yes.
Have you, as a Florida guy, gone in the water?
Okay, I grew up in South Florida. So let me, Fort Lauderdale Beach and Hollywood Beach and Miami Beach is a beach. Hampton, that's the coast. That ain't the beach. That's the coastline. That is cold. You guys have soft shell. You guys have crabs and lobsters and all that stuff. In that case, we got our Florida lobsters are so cush. They don't even need claws. They don't even get claws because they're just chilling on the beach getting a suntan. You guys need like weapons to like sever fingers and to fight off shark. Great white shark. We got a little nurse shark. We have little nurse sharks, dressed up in a nice little nurse outfit, swimming around looking all cute in high heels. No, you guys have great whites literally breaching and splashing in the water. So I have dipped my toe, but I like to be able to see through my water.
Yeah, it's a whole look. People in New England that are around my age for years didn't go in the ocean because they filmed Jaws up here. It traumatized an entire generation of kids.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so. I'll tell you a story. The first time that I ever went scuba diving off the beach, I got my certification. My buddy Chuck is the guy who gave me my certification. He was a lifeguard that I was a lifeguard with. And he's like, hey, man, you should be scuba certified. So let me certify you. So we certified, and I kept wanting to get more certifications, and one of them is a beach, a dive. So we go off the beach, and we're swimming off, and there's, this huge sponge, like almost like coral-y thing that's, sitting about, and it's huge. It's like 5.5 feet tall in the water. And before we had gone out into the water, I asked Chuck, and I'm like, hey, man, you ever seen a shark before out here? How often do you see sharks? I just want to know, He goes, oh, man, it's no big deal. I've been doing this 7 years. I've maybe seen 4 my whole life, blah, blah, blah. If you see them, just take out your regulator, press the button on the back, bubbles come up. They're scared of the bubbles. Okay. So I'm like, cool. So me and my buddy Fred, we're out there. And Fred, you signal to the main diver, and he's like, hey, I'm going to go stick my head down into the sponge. And he gives him a thumbs up, and Chuck gives him the thumbs up, and Fred floats over the top of this thing, and he goes to dip his head in, and a freaking nurse shark comes flying out of it, hits Fred in the face. Fred freaks out. Regulator falls out of his mouth. Blah, 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 bubbles going everywhere. We're like, oh my God. He's like, gotta find his regulator. Pops the regulator in his mouth. Chuck looks at him like deer in the headlights, and he goes, and Chuck and Fred goes,
thumbs down.
Hilarious.
Thumbs down.
It was hilarious. Yeah, man. It was funny. First time ever off the beach, and I see a damn shark.
I got day certified in Jamaica years ago to go scuba diving, like for the day,
Mm-hmm.
Not something that a lot of people do because you got to stay sober for the day to do it.
Yes.
And like, who wants to stay sober in fucking Jamaica?
Yeah.
But we're in the pool, right? Doing the whole thing or whatever. And they do hand signals. For anybody that's never gone scuba diving, they teach you hand signals to communicate because you obviously can't talk. And so we're going, yes, thumbs up, I'm good, okay, yeah, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
And then the guy goes like this. He goes, And we're like, what the fuck is that? Big motherfucking shark.
Oh.
And I'm like, bro, if we see a big motherfucking shark, that's 4 hand gestures.
Yeah, right?
You're just going to see me shit my wetsuit and you're going to know what's happening.
Yeah, I'm going to go straight up and then stand on the water and run across it like Jesus in a WB cartoon. That's how it's going to be. That's how it's going to be. You ain't going to see me. And like I said, apparently if you take your regulator out, you flip it around and blow bubbles at it. It's they also say, and I remember, forget the comedian's name, but he talks about it. He goes, apparently when a shark gets too close, you're supposed to just punch it in the nose.
Yeah.
And he goes, what if it wasn't going to attack you? What if it was just swimming past you? All of a sudden you're like, and it's like, ow, what the fuck?
Now
and
it's pissed.
Like, I thought you were going to attack me. And he goes, well, I fucking am now. Are you... Jesus, all the other sharks are looking. What I gotta out of principle.
Yeah.
So yeah. Be careful. Don't punch a shark. You might pull back a stump.
As a guy that's been in a hard rock band for a really long time, I have a theory, and it's not my theory, but it's a pretty kind of accepted thing that the climate up here in the Northeast makes people hardy.
Yes.
And that makes us love the music we love, which is why we love hard rock and heavy metal and why so much of it comes out of here. Did putting your toe in the water make you understand why we're so angry and why we love hard rock and metal music so much now?
It's why we wrote Ruthless. I dipped my toe and I was like, inspiration, ran to the bus. You better cover your toes. It's about to get... Toes doesn't work. Toes, no. Eyes. Better cover your eyes. It's about to get ruthless. Yes. Thank you, Wallies.
Yeah. Well, when you announced the tour, going out again with the guys from Soil, going out with Spine Shank, going out with Head PE, because you're going to be at Wally's August 6th. The tickets are on sale now. It just got announced. It's come up so many times, like the mid to late 90s, which is when I started on the radio, and you and I have talked about this before, and now the kind of early 2000s, like, for lack of a better term, like the new metal era of music, for a lot of snooty kind of rock purist, alternative, like whatever. I remember when like the new metal stuff started coming out. Mm-hmm. And it was a punchline for a lot of these like music critics and whatever, because they just didn't get it.
Right.
And now we're seeing all of the bands that came out of that era have this resurgence where they're almost bigger now, you guys included, like what's happening with Korn and System of a Down and the Deftones and Limp Bizkit and like, do you attribute it to raising your kids listening to that music and now your kids love it? Like, what is it about right now? There's a couple of factors, I believe, personally. Number one, the quality. There was something about all the bands literally every single band that you listed, you saw in a club, plugged in, no tracks, just that every single time. And they sounded amazing or okay or ridiculously good. It ebbed and flowed, but every experience was absolutely different but real. That's what I was going to say. Real.
Number one. That's number one. The level of player and just understanding of your band, and you know your band is about your performance, and you were trying to be as unique as possible, but by doing it, performing it, not supporting a ridiculous amount of production, just you performing. That's the first thing, and people, I think, really respect that. The same way that people of our era really respected classic rock and that time going, holy shit, listen to how, Zeppelin, Fleetwood Mac, and all these bands that, Journey had all these stacks and harmonies and Queen and, all of these Zeppelin and all of this. Sabbath, all of these bands that created this bar. They created a bar. So we have that. Number 2, the mood. It was fun. It was so much fun.
The music may have been angry,
but the shows were always a party. It didn't matter, even if it was like a pitting party, even in between like the new metal and the hardcore, where, you had your Deftones, you had your Glassjaws, you had your At the Drive-Ins, but you also had your Korns, your Limp Bizkits, and your, that there was the two sides, but they were both moving at the same time. And sometimes they crossed over, but the show itself, you always walked out of that show going, oh my God, that was just, instead of just kind of like standing there with your phone and videotaping half of the show. So there was the mood and the fun. And then the last thing was the songs. The songs, man. The songs of that era, they had meat on the bones. So, you walked away either feeling a very deep emotion or just singing until your throat was sore. So I would say those are the big
and
3.
Exhausted. That was the other thing, is that we would leave those shows having this cathartic experience together in the crowd, singing every word in the pit. It's 1,000 degrees in there. Yep. You're moist, but it's probably not your sweat. It was the
Great
guy next to you.
Yes. I don't know the big deal. But
you had this, and then you walk out of the club, and up here, right, it's January, and it's 1,000 degrees inside, and you walk out, and it's 2 degrees outside, and it feels so good because you're so hot.
Yeah.
Or it's the Ozzfest, and it was the hottest day of the year every year. It's like somehow Ozzy and Sharon plugged in directly to Mother Nature and guaranteed that whatever day the Ozzfest was, at least up here, it was going to be the hottest day of the year. Every year.
To push beer sales. I know that's what it was for. It was definitely to increase beer sales.
The fact that they're having the conversation about bringing the Ozzfest back next year.
All right, I'm going to say this. If they haven't thought about this yet, I want to go on record saying this. Many stages go by the year.
Ooh.
Many stages go by the year. Now, you got Rockville that has 5-6 stages. If you go 5-6 years deep in Ozzfest, 2000, 2001, 2002 stage, 2003 stage, 2004 stage, 2005, 2006, and then the following year do the other ones, bro, think about a 2000 stage. You had Manson, Slipknot, Disturbed, us, Mudvayne. It is just the most. It would be the most insane if they went by year. Go by year. Go or 2001 to 2000, 2000 to 2003, and then 2003 to 2000. That would be so cool.
I think kids are growing up hearing these stories about the Ozzfest. Like, was it really like?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. It absolutely was. Yes, it was like summer camp. Yes, we had a great time. Yes, everybody broed down. Yes, we used to steal go-karts and go crazy. Yes, it was the most fun that I've ever had on tour, hands down.
I had that because you and I have known each other a long time. We've grown up together, and I had that moment, I think towards the end of last summer, where a friend's kid came over to the house and saw all the stuff that I have hanging in my studio and hanging in like the Mistress Carrie part of the house, right? And saw all of the stuff you guys have given me, like all the autograph stuff, the gold records, like all the cool shit, right? And she couldn't close her mouth. Like her jaw was just hanging open.
Yeah.
And she was like, you saw all these bands? Like, and I realized in that moment, I'm the person with the bumper sticker that says I may be old, but I got to see all the cool bands. Like, I realized in that moment that kid was looking at me the way I looked at my English professor in college who told me that he saw Led Zeppelin at the old Boston Garden.
I was invited by my friend, Chris Hodges, who sings for the In the End Linkin Park tribute band. And they are very, very popular, more popular than I could have ever imagined. He goes, hey, man, we're playing Revolution. You want to come and sing a song with me? I'd love it if you know, you came out and maybe sang In the End. I would be like, that's great, definitely. Sold out show. Revolution, a place that I play. It's almost 1,000 cap room. Sold out show. And I would say 80% of the audience were in the early 20s, between 18 and 22, maybe 22. Like, it was all kids. It was literally all young kids. So I think about it now as, you know, when I listen to my parents' music, which is why I was naming all the bands that I named. When I, you know, Christopher Cross and Steely Dan and Fleetwood Mac.
Dude,
and,
I will never, ever apologize for my love of Yacht Rock.
No, not at all. Ever. I literally, you know, it's funny. We got asked in an interview together with the entire band, and the interviewer said, well, what is a type of music that no one would ever think that you would be listening to? And all the other members of the band pointed at me, and I went, Yacht Rock. Just every day. It's again, song quality, feeling, taking you back to that time, you know, and that during that time, it was still music discovery. And I was getting forced Yacht Rock because Yacht Rock was just something that my parents were playing in the house on blast while we were cleaning the house or on their days off or during holidays. And then I was like, oh, I like that one. Oh yeah, I like that one. Ooh, who's this? Michael McDonald. Oh, I like Michael McDonald. I like this guy. Oh, he also sings in the Doobie Brothers. So it was like that. I grew up just, that was my discovery. It was like my parents, whatever they were listening to is what I was listening to, other than what I was able to purchase or catch on my radio station that I was listening to, hip hop stations or pop stations or whatever I was listening to at the time. So, you know, we that music for us paints and decorates that time so nice. So it's like, it's like decorating your house 50s, but you just get to do it with an album.
When I go to shows and they're like, when it's early and they're tuning the PA before you guys do sound check, I can always tell who's a good sound guy because if he's using Asia,
he's a good sound guy.
He's a good sound guy. If that's the music he's blaring through the speakers to make the PA sound good for the concert, I know he's a good sound guy.
Or Prince.
Yeah.
Or Prince.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Or like, Amy Winehouse, Back in Black, or any of those like really obviously just deeply rich albums. They're mixed perfectly. Like Steely Dan, I don't think they put out a bad album.
They didn't. And they sound perfect.
Every time.
They know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's crazy is that those kids watching the Linkin Park tribute band have dreamed about what it would be like to see the real Linkin Park.
Yeah.
And you and I watched them in clubs.
Yeah. We played a show where it was insane. We were on tour and shared some shows with Linkin Park and Head PE. And that was, we saw it happen. We were watching it happen. before the internet was blowing up. We watched Linkin Park absolutely explode. And it was weird because we were doing well, and we were doing well at radio. And Head PE was selling out 1,000-seaters. So we played, people sang the shit out of What a Day. And then everybody was like, who's Linkin Park? Who's Linkin Park? Who's Linkin Park? Who's this band Linkin Park? And apparently they were doing really good out west. And they played at the Masquerade. That's where I saw it happen. And I was like, I saw an entire new audience push their way to the front and sing every single song. Like somehow through Pirate Bay and Napster and all that stuff at the time, those kids learned it all, got up to the front, and I knew none of it. Hadn't heard a song, heard the band. Yeah, Linkin Park. Yeah. But they weren't blowing up like that yet. Like they had, and then a week later we saw them on MTV, and it just absolutely exploded. But it was that time where you saw, it was the same thing with Circa, like Circa Survive, like watching those guys live right before they blew up was so amazing. Like watching the kids know the music before I even knew it. I was like, wow, what the fuck's going on here, man? I gotta learn this. And it was awesome. So yeah. I missed that. I missed the discovery of that.
As a dad, and having lived through that era in music, in life, in fashion, the first time, I know how I felt when I went to the store recently and saw the big leg jeans on the shelves again.
I had to buy a pair of I think they're Von Dutch ones for my daughter that where I was like, girl, those JNKO jeans, girl. You ain't fooling nobody, girl. Them repatched JNKOs. You ain't fooling daddy. I could tell. Wait, give me the back pocket. Can I fit an iPad? Yep, that's JNKO. That's JNKO. I can fit an iPad in the back pocket. Them JNKO jeans.
Is the pocket all the way down to the back of your knees?
That's right.
Can you carry everything you need for a day at Ozzfest in your pants?
Can I sneak 2 of my friends in with me for free in my jeans? Then they're JNKOs.
And it's all back.
All back. And it is the uniform overseas. We went and played with Lacuna Coil everywhere. And and we played a lot of college campuses. They play a lot of college campuses. They have a lot of great giant venues with amazing sound. They really take care of their sound students, and they make sure they have like the best gear and the best lights. So it's great venues to play. But you're playing a lot of venues, and you're seeing a lot of the students walking around, and you're like, she's wearing the same outfit that she's wearing. I'm like, wait a minute, she's got the same outfit. She's got the same outfit. And it was the exact same uniform. It was giant jeans, giant JNKO jeans, a giant shirt that was hanging off them. And they were either gray, tan, black jean. And that was everybody, whether every shaped woman was wearing the exact same out. And I was like, wow, it has come back. Baggy stuff is back for sure.
When my husband was still active duty, he was overseas for a while. And one of the places that he was for a while was in Romania. And he was able to get 4 days of a leave pass. And so I flew to Bucharest. And before I left, I was like, well, let me go on Polestar and see if any bands are playing in Bucharest while I'm there or whatever. And Judas Priest was going to play.
Oh.
And my husband, and I've talked about this before, he's not a rock and metal guy. He's a country guy. That's how he grew up. So he doesn't know anything about rock and metal other than like AC/DC and like Lynyrd Skynyrd. And so I was like, hey, I'm going to get tickets. And like, I want to take you to go see Judas Priest, right? So I called the record company and I'm like, hey, is there any chance you could get me a pair of tickets for this show? And they were like, Carrie, they're going to be in Romania. I was like, I know, so am I. Can you get these tickets? So we're in Bucharest the day of the show. And I'm like, that person's going to the show. that person's going to the show, that person's going to the show. And my husband's like, how can you tell? And it's because they had the uniform, right?
Yeah.
The
black t-shirt.
The black t-shirt, the metal studs, the torn jeans, the whatever. And I remember being at the show, and you know this, and part of the reason why I'm asking is because of the idea of like being in Europe, because the European metal fans are different. And there was like a 75-year-old grandpa in black leather pants with his like 4-year-old grandkid with the ear protection.
Yes.
In the middle of the crowd watching Rob Halford. And my husband said two things. He goes, what the hell is going on? And the other thing he said was, how many jackets does this guy have?
I have a funny Rob Halford story. So we're doing Ozzfest, and we're sharing main stage, and we would play, and then Halford would play.
Yeah, not Judas Priest. Halford.
Not Judas Priest. Halford. And after a couple days, we start noticing, the guys start to notice that he's standing side stage watching us every day. So Rob, my drummer, Rob, he tells me, he goes, hey man, you know that singer Judas Priest keeps standing side stage and watches? I'm like, no way. And he goes, dude, I'm dead serious. He goes, watch, today he's going to be out there. So Rob's in the room playing, he's playing sideways, and he's looking stage right. And sure enough, Rob comes out, black aviators, full jacket.
Yeah, Rob Halford doesn't blend.
No, not at all. So he's standing side stage, and Rob is looking at me, waiting to get eye contact. And he finally makes eye contact with me, and he does the Puerto Rican point. You know how Puerto Ricans point with their chin and their lips?
Italians do that too.
Yes. Yeah. We go, oh, over there. So he goes, and he's pointing with his chin, and I turn and I look and I make eye contact with him, and he's standing like this, and he goes,
oh, he gave you the double horns.
Bro, I still get chills. It's
like getting knighted by the king.
Yeah, at that point I was just like, oh man, this is so fucking cool. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, so my husband was supposed to get 4 days of leave. And the day of the concert was the day he had to report back on duty. And so he was going to miss the show. And I was like, well, because of the way my flights were, I was like, I'll find somebody, to give the other ticket to. I'm going to go because you're going to be gone. And I hadn't seen him in months because he was away, and he was my boyfriend at the time and whatever. Right. And so he goes to his commander, and his commander was like, oh, your girlfriend's flying over. What are you guys going to do on your leave days? And he was like, oh, well, she got tickets to this concert, but I can't go because the dates aren't going to. And he was like, oh, what concert? And he was like, oh, she got tickets to Judas Priest. And his commander goes, you can't go? And he was like, no, I got to be back. He got an extra day off from his commander. We call it now Special Judas Priest Liberty. His commander goes, dude, you can't miss going to see Judas Priest. So he gave him an extra 24 hours off.
Wow.
So I could take him to Judas Priest. We still joke about it. We're like, it's not quite Special Judas Priest Liberty, but it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Tax dollars well spent.
Dude.
Tax dollars well spent.
But those European metal fans, the European hard rock fans, like we're talking about hard rock and metal fans in the Northeast of the United States being passionate. But the South American fans and the European fans, like they're lighting road flares in mosh pits. Like I feel like they're just different.
The first time I ever went to Chile, we landed, walked out of the departure, of the arrivals, and there was a crowd of people there with Nonpoint signs. We signed a bunch of stuff and then got in our van and then drove to the hotel, and there was a new group of people holding Nonpoint signs that then we had to stop and sign, and then we went and did sound check, at the Millennium Fest. And when we got there, there was people at the gate standing at the thing with their heads over the fence going, no boy, no boy, no boy. Can you sign these? Can we take a picture? And then we did the show, went back to the hotel. There was a group of people waiting for us at night to sign more shit. We went to sleep. We woke up to fly home. And the next day, there was another group of people there waiting for us. We drove to the airport, and there was another group of people waiting for us. It was literally, it didn't matter where we went. They knew we were on our way, and there was a group of people there waiting for us. I felt like the Beatles. It was the most insane. That's never happened in my career. It happened in Santiago, Chile.
I've never been to, like, going to see Judas Priest in Romania was like as close as I got to experiencing. But all the bands I talk to talk about those South American metal festivals and the European metal festivals, and the fans, they're passionate on a level, and they don't follow music trends. Like, once they love you,
yep,
it's forever.
Ever. Yes, forever. Yeah, it's again, to me, they have a different, the purpose of music is a little bit different, it seems, over there. Yeah. And they really identify and stay with that identification, of saying, hey, I am a fan of this band. And you could see it across all of their lineups. They have Metal Fest, but even their big music festivals has everybody from Billy Idol to Nonpoint to it was Alter Bridge, and then what was her name there was a blues singer was one of the people. I forget her name. British blues singer, young lady. Oh my God, my sound guy uses her music to mix and well, anyway, a lot of different bands, from pop to reggae to metal to regular classic rock. Like you say, over in Europe, if they like you, they just like you.
You talked about the Puerto Rican point. Same thing as the Italians, like, tipping your chin back like that guy over there.
Yeah.
The only reason I will bring up this year's Super Bowl, because obviously I am a diehard Patriots fan, so we're not going to revisit that part. But I wanted to talk to you about what it was like for you to watch the halftime show with Bad Bunny.
First of all, condolences.
Thank you. You and I have known each other long enough where you spent time up here.
Yes.
While Boston and New England sucked at everything still. And then you watched the Patriots win with Tom Brady the first time. Then you watched the Red Sox break the curse. And you watched Bostonians go from consummate losers to obnoxious teams that win everything.
Yes.
And then you've watched it taper off again, where we lose. You're kind of an adopted Bostonian in a lot of ways, right? Because Boston just loves you guys. And you know that we win on the biggest stage and we lose on the biggest stage, but we're loyal no matter what.
Yes, indeed.
So your condolences mean a lot, because it's new quarterback. It's still, watching your team lose in the Super Bowl sucks.
You're rebuilding.
We're rebuilding. However, the halftime show was very polarizing, and I'm not getting into that part.
Yes.
I have gone on record as someone that cannot speak Spanish.
Yes.
But grew up learning how to swear in Italian. So there's enough Latin crossover where, you kind of. But the thing that I was taken aback by is the people that identified with the culture and what it was like for them to see themselves represented on the world's biggest stage. What was that like for you?
Puerto Rico is a very small island. It's 60 by 30, I think. It's very small. And my generation of Puerto Ricans were the last generation, really, I believe, to be taught by our parents the language properly, salsa, so many things that were inherent from the island. The food, the recipes, all that stuff started to slip away from the culture, to the point where, there's a nickname for people like myself that our Spanish isn't the best, and it's hard for us to identify because, during that break, it was you're not Spanish enough to be Spanish, and you're not American enough to be American. So there was that in between, and they nicknamed us Yo Sabos, which is it's an obvious way that I would say I know, because when you say I in Spanish, usually it ends with O. But it's supposed to be yo sé, which is I know. So watching somebody like Bad Bunny, who came up in a generation that was a little bit disconnected from Puerto Rico, but he grew up in Puerto Rico and saw the culture starting to get, in a sense, what we've seen over 4 or 5 decades colonized, and watching Puerto Rico and its agriculture and its tourism get headhunted basically and get exploited, and then watch things like hurricanes tear through and us not get any help or very little help, and then us have to pull ourselves out. I mean, they're still rolling blackouts. So when Bad Bunny did this new record, in his record, which, I mean, it's so funny that you bring it up because it's literally right here. I'm not joking.
On vinyl, within arm's reach of you, unplanned.
So it's because the record really, for a Puerto Rican of my generation, really defines what we feel being Puerto Rican nowadays, which is a little bit disconnected, a little bit targeted, and we're watching. And he says it in one of the songs. He goes, "Don't forget Lalo Lai, because I don't want to happen to us what happened to Hawaii." So, and you see how Hawaiians are still very, they fight for just to hold on to the little bit of control of that they have, as a state, and their
culture and their language, the same way that Native Americans, the younger generations, are reclaiming their language, reclaiming their traditions.
Right. But this record, every once in a while, the song stops and then starts up again, quiet. And he did that to nod to the rolling blackouts that are still happening in the island. I had to pull my grandfather off the island because he's diabetic, and insulin has to be in a refrigerator. So 4 hours, 5 hours would go by, 10 hours with no lights. And my grandfather's 95 years old. So, it's that kind of thing where he wanted to die on the island, but he couldn't because it's just getting, decimated, but there's no help. But there's still, very wealthy people out there just buying up the island and buying up the coastline, which is now starting to shut off the island from locals from even reaching the beach. And then that's going to be the same thing that's happened in like Jamaica and things like that, where it's like not even the locals can get to the beach anymore. So, watching what everyone felt like was a misrepresentation of America, I think it's one of the biggest representations of America, because there is a bit of a cultural and social revolution happening between, the people of the island, who are the happiest people and such a happy culture, and watching us have to deal with so much, and then watching it being celebrated the way that it was in the halftime. I was watching my childhood bounce around on stage and see all of these things that reminded me of Puerto Rico that I, literally, and I'm going to show you, I decorate my house with. I'm going to can I flip the camera around? Hang on. Well, I'll just bring you over. So that I even have my grandfather's.
Oh, you have the hat. What's it called?
It's a pava. So, and then I have my great grandparents, and that's a sugarcane field. And that's the track where the actual sugarcanes trains used to come up and pick up all the sugarcane. But that was my family. And we had sugarcane fields in Puerto Rico. It sits right there. I see it every day.
Growing up in my town, Leominster, Massachusetts, where I grew up, which is like a little bedroom community like northwest of Boston, there were 3 predominant nationalities for my entire childhood. There were French Canadian furniture makers. There were the Italians, which was the dominant culture in my dad's family's Italian. And so that was my dominant culture. But the other, unexpectedly, for the middle of Massachusetts was Puerto Rico and Puerto Ricans, because Leominster, they call themselves a pioneer plastic city. And when injection plastic molding happened, like those plastic lawn flamingos everybody had on their front lawn in Florida, those were made in my hometown. We have flamingos in the crosswalks in my hometown because those flamingos made Leominster famous back in the 50s because they were all made here. But they needed workers. And so all of the major manufacturing in my hometown advertised jobs in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
To get people to come here from Puerto Rico to work. And so they developed culture. And so looking around my hometown, it was French Canadians, it was Italians, and it was Puerto Ricans. And it was those those were the flags hanging off of people's front house, the front of their houses. That was the music you heard when people drove by with the windows down. And that was the food.
Yeah.
And the Puerto Ricans would always come into our Italian bakery because they liked the cold cuts that we had.
Yes.
And the hams and all of that stuff. And now that my family's bakery is no longer there, we've got some great Puerto Rican bakeries now.
Yeah.
And I need help with the Google Translator ordering stuff. But now I'm the Italian shopping at the Puerto Rican bakeries in the same hometown. Yeah.
Well, my family started in New Jersey. I'm Puerto Rican. My mother was Puerto Rican. My father's Dominican. And for the same reason, they came up looking for opportunity. There was a lot of trucking and a lot of fiberglass work. That's what my dad did for a living. He did fiberglass. And trucking was starting to explode, and all those trucks were made of fiberglass. So fiberglass repair, he was doing the repair, and they needed that, big time. And then my grandfather was one of the truck drivers, and that's how he met my mother. And lo and behold, they became sweethearts. High school sweethearts. It was really interesting watching my town around the time of the Super Bowl because the Patriots played, right? So everybody was like freaking out that Drake May, the new quarterback, the post Tom Brady era, new coach, whatever, we're in the Super Bowl. But there's a bunch of bushes all running around too because they were getting ready for a bunch of bushes.
But it was also really interesting watching culturally all of the Puerto Ricans in my town have this experience of watching the Super Bowl halftime show be focused on their culture. Yeah. When he went up on the electric light post. Yeah. That was pretty pretty amazing. Because of the reference of what he was, lending to. And the fact that the cinder block, like talking about how important the cinder block was. Cinder block is everything happened in Puerto Rico because of cinder. All those little short
tiny ranch houses. Half of those things were built by the people that lived in them. So there was a lot of references that he made in that just were just
that would go over somebody like me's head.
Yeah.
Not because I'm an idiot, but because I didn't grow up in the culture.
Right. But it's, in the defense of critics, Bad Bunny is I believe just top Taylor Swift and the most streamed artist in the world. So to think that he was misrepresenting, he's an American artist, apparently. He's Puerto Rican, but he's Puerto Rico is a territory of America and has been for a very, very long time. So for the highest streaming artist in the world right now playing the Super Bowl halftime show makes sense.
The idea that he was given the job because people were trying to make a political statement and not because he earned it was...
Jay-Z was like, what do you want, man? He's the most streamed guy in the entire world. I thought it was a great idea. And then he obviously he wanted to show people the world that he grew up and he lived in. I had a very interesting conversation with a singer of a band who's a dear friend of mine who, really, I guess he's taken some criticism for his political stances. And, he has seen sometimes a little bit of conflict with even some of our peer group. And, I had to kind of remember and remind him that, just let me preempt this with, I'm a mixed kid. I'm Puerto Rican Dominican. I'm very light, fair-skinned. And I grew up in my elementary school, my middle school, and my high school were anywhere between 90 to 95% African American, and the other percentage was usually Hispanic, Asian, and Caucasian. So I grew up in predominantly African American schools and high schools and middle schools and elementary schools. So for me, it was kind of tough because I wasn't dark enough, even with my afro, to really be fully accepted. So you got to think, for 18 straight years, I was a white boy, called that all the time. Then I graduated and I went into the world. Then I was a black guy. For the rest of my life, moving into my career, being called the N-word is tough. Being called the N-word more times than you can count on your hands is even tougher. So for people thinking that they live in this, utopian, free country, I live in a completely different country than you live in. And that's what I told him. I said, I've grown up in a completely different world than you live in. Just even though I've grown up here, it doesn't fucking matter, man. So imagine someone that has grown up their entire lives as an African American or as a Mexican or as a Hispanic and dealing with it their entire lives. I've never had a team. I've never been allowed on a team.
Yeah, because you don't fit in the box of anybody.
I've always had that fortunate perspective where I could see what you're saying over here and I could see what you're saying over here, but both of you motherfuckers are wrong. Everybody's wrong because everybody's living a different experience. And it's when people have understanding and empathy of those experiences is when we get peace. It's the only way it's going to fucking come. It's the only way. Because the only time that I actually have peace is when I'm in those environments that have full understanding and full empathy.
You were one of the people when I was watching the Super Bowl, because of which I thought that the controversy around his selection was stupid. And I wanted to watch it, because I needed something to take my mind off of the game.
Yeah.
But I wanted to see, like, was he going to do something so controversial to warrant, like, the what was happening leading up to it, right? But I also, because that was such a dominant culture in the town I grew up in that I could not identify with at all, but saw it around. I went to school with a ton of Puerto Rican kids and heard the music and the flags and like all of that stuff, but grew up deeply rooted in my dad's Italian community and like whatever. And I watched it and I tried to imagine the Italian version. Right? Like what artist or like whatever like would make the Italians that I grew up with see themselves. And as I was watching it, I thought about you. And I was like, I know Elias is watching this right now.
I was in tears.
Yeah, I thought you would.
It literally brought me to tears. It absolutely brought me to tears.
Yeah, I thought you would be.
That record is, granted it's a dance record, but there's so many songs on this record that are just salsa or bachata or just regular, like it's music that I would have heard in this house. This is my grandparents' house. When my grandparents passed, they left me their house. So I wanted to keep it like they had it.
Yeah.
So we play Spanish music all the time in this house just because, that's just how I remember this house. And I almost lost this house to the state. My mother was going through some tough times and she was just going to let the house go to the state. And I was like, girl, I grew up in that house. You better no. And then she was like, all right.
That means something.
Yeah. I spent childhood in this house, like my entire childhood on weekends with my grandfather as he, was screaming salsa choruses at the top of his lungs while my pissed off grandmother was trying to do dishes going, "Ay, sweetie, gritando en la casa, screaming in the house. Why are you screaming?" Like it's like, and he would do it just to make me and my brother laugh. So it was, or putting a mattress in the living room here while we fake WWF wrestled, pretending he was Andre the Giant and we were, the Road Warriors trying to fight him. So it was awesome.
It made me regret that I didn't pay closer attention in Spanish class because I took Spanish in school. And
me too.
And it didn't.
Me too.
It didn't stick the way. I don't know if it's just the way they taught it or whatever. And the other thing, it made it painfully obvious to me that I lack any rhythm to be able to really enjoy salsa music. My ass does not shake the way that it should shake to listen to that music.
You know what? Bad Bunny cannot salsa. He's still trying to learn because he didn't get taught the way he was supposed to.
Like, I watch Shakira's hips do things.
Yes.
That my hips are just like, bitch, please, you're not doing that.
Yeah. Those she got Egyptian hips. She's got the wiggly hips.
Like I just have this envy about being able, like, I know when I move to that music that I'm the punchline to all their jokes in Spanish right now. That I am that white girl, like, trying, but it just ain't working.
Follow the kick. Just follow the kick. That's all I can say. Follow the kick. Don't try to follow the music singing along to it. Just follow the kick.
And now he's going to be in the new Toy Story, Bad Bunny.
Yes. And rightfully as a slice of pizza, because when you think Puerto Rican artist, slice of pizza. That's
No, that's not it. No.
No.
I also thought of you because they're bringing back Miami Vice.
Really?
Yeah, there's going to be a new Miami Vice movie. That's
with Colin Farrell?
No, it's going to be. Hold on, now I have to.
Oh my God!
I thought you would have known this already because you guys had.
Yes, because the Miami Vice people just call me all the time. Just but
because of the soundtrack, you fuck. You know why.
Like, hey, Elias, how you doing this afternoon?
No, that they're making a new movie, but the new film is going to be based off of the first season of the original TV show. The movie's going to be set in the 80s.
80s? Okay,
Yes.
now that's what you got to do. That's
And-
what you got to do.
But I thought of you. It's going to be, wait, hold on. Oh, God damn it. Because the cast is big. It's Austin Butler and Michael B. Jordan.
No way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'll be watching that.
And I thought of whenever, like, the In the Air Tonight, like, because you guys did that song so well, and because Phil Collins is getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a solo artist, basically because of that one drum fill, for God's sake. It's like the most iconic thing ever. The reaction videos for people that have never heard that song before are hilarious online. But I would have thought you would have been trying to get an extra job in the new Miami Vice. Yeah, I was excited when I heard about the casting.
My whole team's fired. My whole team. They're all fired.
And that it was going to be based off the original era, that they're going to make it 80s, because what is going to be better than watching them pull all of these 80s outfits and all the old 80s cars?
If they go deep with the 80s, if they get, that
synthesizers.
soundtrack, I'm gonna, please, just pick a bunch of really good ones.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about, because you are in the vicinity, is that they just launched the Muppet coaster this weekend.
Where?
Dude, how the fuck? You're in Florida.
I'm sorry. I just got off tour.
You know how much I love the Muppets, because I've always loved the Muppets. Okay, the Aerosmith coaster got shut down last year.
And they turned it in.
Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem, and opened this week.
Okay, that's at the and I call it MGM Studios, but it's not
the Hollywood Studios.
Hollywood Studios,
Yeah.
yes.
You're like driving distance with the kids.
I'm going to Epcot actually next week.
Are you one of the adult Epcot parents that just goes to get drunk in the world?
Maybe. No, I'll be honest. My daughter, there's a couple of new rides there, the Guardians of the Galaxy ride and the new Moana water experience. And we are huge Moana fans. I got the vinyl over there, the aqua blue vinyl over there. I'm a huge Moana fan. I know all of the Moana songs backwards and forwards. I know the harmony parts. So
you talk about growing up in a different world, right, than your friend. Mm-hmm. How has being a girl dad, especially now, because as a woman, right, you and I have known each other a really long time. Being on rock stations where they're playing back-to-back songs with female vocalists is something when I started on the air would never have happened.
Yeah.
Because they coded all of the songs with women in them with an F, so that the music scheduling wouldn't put songs with women back to back in them, because they didn't want it to sound like the station lost its edge because having too many girls on the air at one time. So that's the era of the mid to late 90s that I came up in on the radio. And people like, that didn't happen. I'm like, the fuck it didn't.
Wow.
And now being on rock stations where it's insane the amount of music that women are making in rock and metal. It's like what I waited for, right? My whole career. So how has it been for you as a girl dad? Because I watched my husband be a girl dad, this Marine with a daughter, and learning the world through a daughter's eyes. It's just a different world.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think that we are moving towards I'll tell you the truth. I'm gonna tell you the truth. It's the Beyonce factor. It's the Billie Eilish factor. It's the Taylor Swift factor. It's the fact that now you can't deny that women do big business.
And they always have.
Yeah, but it's now there's too many, and it runs the industry. It funds those parts of the industry. So you got to think, once Beyonce got to Beyonce level, those dollars pumping backwards. It's the same thing that when I got signed. It's like everybody was looking for a new metal act or a rap rock act. Everybody was looking for rap rock. That's what happened once. We need a Beyonce. So
it's what happened with grunge too in Seattle, that by the mid 90s, any band that was halfway decent in Seattle, people were trying to sign them because they just wanted something that was part of that movement.
Do you sing mostly in vowels? Okay, we will sign you. You come this way. Bring your flannel. I need your flannel. I need your boots. Bring them this way. So you got that. But somebody like Billie Eilish, then you're going, okay, now I have young, female, impressionable, longevity. So you're watching in this industry the umbrella telling the rock side, hey, you better fucking get on board here. You're missing the boat. And then you get your Spirit Boxes, you get your Poppies, you get, all of those. And then they push past the infrastructure that's in place in a way that they break out of it. So, hey, let's give it a chance. Let's play it through our channels, radio, our playlisting, blah, 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 and see how it does. Nah. We just dropped it on TikTok. It exploded on their own, and now my phone's ringing. That's what's happening now, where the audience is telling industry that you should have been putting your dollars here a long time ago.
Yeah.
So it's an arms race.
You know what else for a woman to watch it too? And somebody like Adele, right? Same thing. Like it just gets to the level of success where it's just undeniable. But all of the women you're talking about, for me as a woman that's older than them, right? Watching them come up, I think the most important thing that they're doing that maybe their predecessors couldn't do was they say no.
Yes.
And have the power to say no.
Yeah.
Because there were so many iconic women whose shoulders they're standing on and they know it. But a lot of those iconic women were coming up in a time where they didn't control their own career. The talent was there, right? Yep. Like Ike and Tina Turner in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but let's be honest, Tina's in there twice.
Yes.
Right? But the earlier eras of women were the talent, but didn't have the mechanism to say no, or I'm not going to do that. You work for me. This is my creative vision. I'm going to direct the trajectory of my career. No.
Yeah, that's what those Taylor Swifts, those Billie Eilishes, they all did. They took full control.
Yeah, and they could say no. And for an independent... go ahead.
That gives to the independent artists. That's where we got.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
We got to the point where we were just like, we kind of wanted to do it ourselves. Now, we grew up during a time where teams, labels, just distributors, radio teams, all that stuff matters to us because it's still part of the guts of the business. So we knew when we went independent that we had to build a team, and that's what we do. We have KMG as our distributors. We have, Eggleston Group as our radio. We have, we work at the level that we know we need to in order to scale if the song starts to go. But the only way to see if the song is going to go is to, push in the socials and to spend a little bit of money. And that's what we do.
So you're talking about the song, and being an independent artist, you can make these decisions for yourself.
Yes.
It's a question that every band out there right now is wrestling with. Live in a singles world or release a full body of work and release a record. And I know that you guys had to have the conversation about which lane you want to pick as a rock band in 2026.
Mm-hmm.
The record's coming later this year. So why an album and not singles? Like what's your stance on it?
Well, we did 2 EPs, and we wanted to, with Jason, our newest member, and over the last 5 years, we were playing. We were in the sandbox, and then we hit it. We hit it with one song, and then I was like, "Oh, this is the direction we need to be going." And the light bulb went off for Jay. Everybody got focused on the one page, and then we knew that it was. We were like, "Hey, we got to write more than 20 songs." We hit 27, and we started carving out 10.
Well, there's so much going on with the band now. So the record's coming out in the summer. You're going to be eating Blink's fried dough in August.
That's right.
I'm coming to the show, so we're hanging because
Yay.
What has happened is every time it seems like you guys come up here, I'm working or have had to travel because my husband was in the military, travel to go and spend time with him, wherever he was in the world or whatever. So I haven't been able to see you in a while, which pisses me off because when you come here, I'm usually not here.
All right, Blinks, we got a date.
Yeah. Are you a butter powdered sugar guy? Are you a tomato sauce guy? Are you a chocolate syrup guy?
Ready for this? I like the butterscotch custard spread. That's delicious. But I am a traditional butter and powdered sugar.
Yeah, that's how I
like buttery, salty, savory.
Or the cinnamon sugar.
My mouth is watering so much right now. It's so crazy.
For anybody that's never eaten fresh out of the grease fried dough.
It's what all the carnivals pretend to do.
It tastes better when you're in proximity to the ocean.
Yes.
And the thing is last summer when I took my husband and the kids, I was like, we're going to get one. I want you guys to try it. And I was like, you guys don't understand. Like, this is I smell my childhood. I'm tasting my childhood right now. Like, I'm living my childhood. And they were like, yeah, it's okay. They were like, yeah, it's okay. But I was like, ah!
Nah, man, you guys got too many Sour Patch stuff and gummy worm shit and red numbered Lake 740.
I was like, no, you don't. This is like, mwah!
If the guy frying the dough doesn't have a cigarette hanging out of his mouth
and a dirty wife beater, and hairy upper arms and old Navy tattoos.
Yes. But I've had it with cherries. I've had it with the butterscotch thing. I've had it with I've had it apple. I've every single time I go.
Yeah,
I have
the sugar, the butter sugar thing, and maybe a little cinnamon on top is just.
I do the butter sugar with coffee in the morning, and then later on that night, when I need another zoom zoom wham wham, is what we call the sweet snacks on the bus.
The zoom zoom wham wham.
Yeah, that's Rashid. That's zoom zoom wham wham. That's what he calls them. He goes, "Hey Elias, I'm going to the gas station. Grab me a zoom zoom wham wham. You want something?" I'll be like, "Yeah, man, grab me a zebra cake or something."
I ask bands all the time, like, what's the 3 a.m.? Okay, there is a bar, and I'm not going to tell you who set the bar until after you answer the question.
Okay.
Craziest thing you've ever bought at a truck stop in the middle of the night in the United States?
Craziest thing that I ever bought at a truck stop.
Because those truck stops, for anybody that's never driven cross country, the truck stops, the gas station, the places that have the showers and the movie theaters, like the giant truck stops, they have everything.
The craziest thing that I surprised that was there, Pokemon cards. That's I'm gonna go with Pokemon cards because nobody ever thinks that. Sometimes they got Pokemon cards at a pilot. It's fun.
Bar is set high by Justin Chancellor from Tool.
Okay.
Who bought a full set of armor. A whole suit of armor.
That's that Tool money, girl. I ain't got Tool money. I ain't got armor money. I got cowboy hat money. I bought the cowboy hat with the sticks and the camo. That's as far as I got. That's the most expensive thing that I bought. What's the hunting print?
Yeah, the woodland camo.
Yes, the hat. with the wood. Yeah, I bought a cowboy hat once with that, so that's about as expensive as I got at the truck stop.
Since the last time you were on the show, a question has come up organically that I ask everybody now. I call it the geezer question. So we're talking about Ozzfest earlier. When Geezer Butler was on the show, we were talking about how he and his wife Gloria wanted to go. They were going to Africa on safari for 3 weeks. And the hardest thing, because he's a huge animal activist, right? And the hardest thing for him was finding somebody to house sit and pet sit. And he goes, because I have 13 cats and 5 dogs. And he kind of said it flippantly, like it was just like an obvious thing. And I said, how do you name 13 cats and 5 dogs? Like, how do you keep track of them? And without even skipping a beat, he just let it slip all casual like that he names all of his cats and dogs after gangster rappers. And Geezer Butler just started rattling off the most deep cut rapper names. And I was shocked that he knew that much about gangster rap.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Chingy, Missy, like he just was going off. I'm on the floor dying laughing because I didn't know Geezer knew that much about gangster rap, right?
That's amazing.
And so now I ask every artist that comes on the show the Geezer question. You have to tell me about the family pets and the names of the pets that you have, because nobody's pet story is boring. It has come to my attention.
Okay, so I have a cat named Mochi, very, very talkative gray Russian blue. She is Mochi Mikasa Soriano. Mikasa is the name of my daughter's favorite fighter in the Attack on Titan anime. So we gave her that middle name. We found her in May. So her birthday is Cinco de Mayo.
Of course.
So she's Puerto Rican, Dominican, and part Mexican and Japanese. Yes, but she goes by Kitten because she's still a kitten. But she's the most talkative cat that you will ever meet. And like every vet that we've taken her to always says, your cat does not stop talking, not meowing, like
trying to talk to you.
My cat literally talks to me.
It's shocking to me how many badass rock and metal band members have cats.
Yes.
Like very few big, gnarly,
because they're easy to sit.
And like studded collars. It's all like, look at my little kitty, or look at my little itty bitty doggy.
You know why? Because the attitude that they give back to you, even though you're going, oh, look at my, they're all. And then we're used to getting that in the rock world. In the rock world, it's all dark and mysterious and hardcore.
The smug, like, prove that I should be entertained.
So you get, ooh, you do. And you get that. That's how your cat. Cat doesn't want nothing to do with you, but it's like you kiss it and it's reluctant to take it. Yeah, that's they make you work for the love.
Yeah. And I know that there are some on the record, but one of the other things that is huge in the last few years that I feel like rock was very slow on, that the hip hop world was very early on and very smart about, was featuring collabs of other artists.
Yeah.
And rock is doing so much more of that now to great success and making great music with all different artists. And so I know there's collabs coming on the record. Can you talk about the ones that are coming?
Yeah. Right now we have Sky Sweetnam from Sumo Psycho. She sang that day with us live for a couple of tours. So when we were doing the new record, we wanted to invite some other singers. So Sky was top of the list because our voices blend and she's an amazing performer live. Then I started going after some of my favorites. I hit up Brandon from Crowbot. He's got one of the sexiest, most soulful, amazing voices ever. I hit up Mikey from Islander to give me some of his love. So a lot of like unique voices that are just, buddies of mine and that I'm I'm a fan of their voices. So I wanted to get people that I feel like are, don't get enough love, but are amazing performers. And just those three alone are pretty amazing.
If I gave you a magic wand and you could tap it on any artist and they couldn't say no to an invitation to do a song with you, of anybody, who would it be? Like dream, I couldn't even handle being in the room with them. Like who would you want to do a song with?
It's a toss-up. Because top of the list is Chino. Because I just think that would be, because of how much he loves music.
Yeah.
I would love to talk to him about like Morrissey and Glassjaw and the Smiths and all this that stuff, Circa and Dredge and a lot of the bands that I saw him take out on the road and that I still go out and watch at the drive-in, all those bands. So yeah, Chino definitely, but also to Benji from Skindred, because Benji, again, amazing voice, but it's again his range with his music and his abilities, but how fun it would be to do a song with Benji.
That's a band that I feel like, and they've had success in the United States, but is a band that I've always loved since they broke here the first time, and a band that makes me feel like my hips are broken, right? Because you just can't not dance and have fun when you listen to Skindred. But they're also a band that I feel like is obviously way bigger in Europe, that I'm trying to figure out why the U.S. hasn't figured out how amazing this band, because I love them.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's I don't know if it's the traffic out here. I don't know if it's the culture out here, the difference, but it is a show, and he is a showman unlike no other. And for somebody who takes that front position pretty fucking seriously, there are few that do it as good as Benji. Very, very few. He is a master in that position, and it would be an honor to do a song with him. So I feel like that would be, two-sided wand that I go boop and I get.
And
them
you
both.
bring up Chino, right? Like, how crazy is it when you talk about the old Ozzfest days? How crazy is it to watch the Deftones be bigger now?
Yes.
Than they were before.
Yeah.
They just did a poll, and the Deftones are the most popular hard rock and metal band for people to have sex to. Did you see that?
Wow. Yeah, that's I got to give it up to the youth again. It's the young people finding that music probably in their parents' collection, blasting it and going, you got to listen to this. And the right kid heard it. And that's it. That's it.
Like, to watch, and now all of these bands, right, from that era, right? Korn, like Deftones, System, Rage. I mean, even Linkin Park now, they're all eligible for induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now.
Yeah.
You guys are...
What a day is going classic rock.
Yeah.
What a day is going classic rock. It hits 30 years next year. 30 years it hits.
That's crazy.
That's fucking insane.
It's crazy.
And apparently 25 years is classic rock.
25 years is classic rock, and 25 years from the date of your first commercial release is the bar you have to meet for nomination for induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Wow. So
last year it was Disturbed, Papa Roach, like they all met that bar last year, which is like the 2000 bands now meet the criteria. And it's like, what? For a genre of music that a lot of people turn their nose up at, to now be just as successful.
It sure does move a lot of tickets, right?
Right? Streaming, that you guys are still making music, still touring, that the fans are still there.
Yeah.
That obviously it had staying power, and things don't stick around if they suck.
Well, there you go.
So.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah, right? That's why we're both still here.
Yes, exactly.
Because we don't suck.
And you don't age. You look exactly the same.
Oh, thank you. It's hate and caffeine.
There you go.
Some women go and get Botox and whatever. I'm Sicilian and Portuguese. I'm just run on hate and caffeine.
There you go. I'm Puerto Rican Dominican, so I run on salsa and caffeine.
Yes. It was so good to see you.
I miss you so much.
I know, I miss you too. Will you please tell Rob and the rest of the guys that I said hi?
I will. And our fried dough at Blinks, it's happening.
Dude, we're making it happen. I think the show's on a Thursday night.
Yes.
So Thirsty Thursday on Hampton Beach for fried dough. It's 100% happening.
Okay.
All right. See you. Have fun at Epcot.
I love you.
Will you please go on the Muppet coaster for me? Because you'll get there before me. And please send me pictures.
I will. If I get to that park, I think we're only doing Epcot.
Oh, all right. Well,
but I'll get you some Moana shots.
I might get on a plane just to ride the Muppet coaster. Like, I'm that kind of obsessed. And now they're releasing a whole new line of Muppet merch because of it. And now I'm like, oh, here we go.
I'll tell you the trick. You go, you got to stay on the property because you get early entry and you get extended hours. And as soon as 7 a.m. hits, open up your app and get the Lightning Pass for that ride and make it first, because you'll probably get like an 8:30 Lightning, 9 o'clock Lightning, and right across from it is Hollywood Tower of Terror. So you can jump in that ride, and normally nobody likes to. That ride is so intense. In the first thing in the morning, the lines are non-existent, so you can do both rides within like 15 minutes. It's amazing.
If this whole Nonpoint rock star frontman thing doesn't work for you, you could be a travel agent giving like Disney tips, because you've got them all.
I will be a Disney secret tip. I know how to do Disney. I did 26 rides in one day. 26 rides in one day. 3 parks, 26 rides.
There should be some kind of an award. Screw the Grammy. That's the award you want to achieve.
Like, no, seriously, people like, how did you? And I literally,
science.
I am the man at Disney.
Well, enjoy Moana. I will see you in August, and I cannot wait to hear this whole record. So I'm really excited for you guys.
I can't wait. Hey, is it? Listen to it. Stream it. Download it, y'all. Is it?
I'll see you later.
Love you.
There he is, Elias Soriano from Nonpoint. The new single, Is It, is available everywhere. You can see the band live out on the road this year with a stop at Wally's at Hampton Beach in New Hampshire on August 6th. I've got the link to get your tickets in the show notes of this episode. There's also links to Elias's other 2 appearances on the Mistress Carrie Podcast, episode 164 and episode 54. And if you want to check out the single, well, there's a link to this episode's corresponding playlist. I make a playlist for every full-length episode of the Mistress Carrie Podcast that features all of my guest music and all the artists and songs that we referenced in the interview. You'll also find all of Elias's links, all the Nonpoint links, and of course, all the Mistress Carrie links. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to like, follow, comment, share, and subscribe to the Mistress Carrie Podcast. New full-length episodes come out every Wednesday. Plus, every weekday, you get the Sit Rep. The Situation Report gives you all of your rock news, music headlines, and entertainment updates in about 5 minutes. Join me live every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern for my weekly live streaming video show, Cocktails in the War Room, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. And you can always find me on the radio. Get the details on all of that and more at MistressCarrie.com. The Mistress Carrie Podcast, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network.